Disappointing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Speed Report here on Twitch Monster 27 and on the YouTube side 105 The Drive, and it will be posted this time. That is a promise. I'm joined here with the Speed Crew, Fractured Chain, our series analyst and driver, the number 20 Fractured. Thanks for joining us. He's also Jaron Hazen on the Twitch side and KMR TV 105 The Drive on the YouTube side. Be sure to check him out for broadcasts of the races. We also have driver of the Deuce and series champion Slothy with us, back in black. Slothy, D4C, whatever you want to call him, he's here with us. Thank you, Slothy, for joining us. And we will have a special opportunity to interview our X Series champion, defending champion right now. And Hair Bear will do that here in a little bit. He is here in the studio with us as well. So Hair Bear, make sure your audio is included. I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. For the first maybe 10, 15 minutes of this broadcast, the sound quality from me is not going to be the best. I do apologize, but it will be corrected as we go on. It's in the works right now. As usual, if you are interested in joining the league, by all means, message me, Sam Cook, 2728785, or Fractured Chain 5, or Back in Black, what's your numbers?
28.
Yeah, Back in Black 28, or Paintbrush 54, or Speedy 12 Driver, or you can go to the official website, www.thegamingriff.com. and leave a comment there with your gamer tag. And we can definitely put you on the Truck Series roster, which will be released soon for next season. Now, this is not a definite roster. This is who is eligible and who can race. This is not a definite roster. There could be some changes in there as people decide yes or no. But at least you'll get an understanding of who is on the list, and you can start preparing for that. Also, coming out very, very soon, as far as league news, coming out very, very soon, will be the KMR All-Star RVP roster. It will be posted in the news page as well. So, look forward to that. As usual, guys, the chat is open. So if you want to leave a chat comment in the chat, or something you want to talk about, a question you want to ask the league, by all means, leave it there, and we will get back with you. And we will chat about that. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get ourselves started with the X Series, and just a kind of a review of the X Series. Fracture, you started broadcasting the X Series. You started there at Daytona. As a matter of fact, I was watching some of those old streams earlier on in the season, and we didn't get the start in the X Series as far as numbers that we thought we'd get. But boy, did it take off later on. To wrap up the X Series, what are your thoughts about the overall series and the racing that took place all season?
Well, like you said, at the start of the year, the attendance was a little down. We had to have a couple cup drivers come in and run some hot seat races. But, as the league grew throughout the season, a lot more drivers caught wind of it. They wanted to try their hand at KMR. And when they did, not only did more cars show up, the competition level showed up as well. A lot of different winners this season. 15 people clocked in points this season. I mean, well, really 16, but a guy got kicked. But 16 people clocked in points, and I mean, it was you couldn't really pick who the champion would be until it was all said and done. I think a lot of people could have been considered for that championship. But yeah, the middle half and the end of the season exceeded my expectations in terms of turnout and racing. So the Xfinity Series, I think, saw the most growth out of all the series that we had.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Slothy, you had the privilege of being named an official a couple weeks ago, and you've been called upon to kind of be an official for some of these races. So you kind of know what it was like down in that X Series. Kind of give a description of what the racing was like. What was some of the things you looked at in that in the season last season for the X Series?
I looked at people coming up to the ranks. Like we got Woozy, Wolfpack, and all of them. They're gonna come up to the ranks. Now while we got spots in the Cup Series that's open, what I like about them, I liked all the races, because I even raced one race that was at
Charlotte Roval.
Charlotte Roval. I ended up dominating.
Yep.
Beloved and all them, yeah. I loved everything about it.
It was awesome to watch, man. It was a great series. And to your note, Fracture, the growth was definitely there. It took a little while to get there, but it just shows how quick a driver can be called up. You think about Foreign Whip, who got his start at Watkins Glen, or you think about when we started getting attendance, drivers like Pennzoil got called up at Auto Club based on his performance. Wolfpack, they got called up. Woozy and Wool Tortoise, they got called up to that series based on their performance in the truck series. It just shows how quick that can happen. And it's good that it happened like that. Of course, this next season, the call-ups won't come as quick, but it's still going to make for a good storyline for next season, because I mean it was some awesome racing, and we got a chance to see the start of separating, like what drivers are ready for that Cup Series, what drivers may need to stick around for a little while, what drivers are kind of on the cusp, so it's going to be very interesting to see, what happens in the future as far as these guys next season and where they decide to go, and it's just going to be really cool, I think, for these guys next season, because this season was awesome. And so before we kind of interview our champion, let's talk about maybe some highlight moments. Slothy, you said you liked all the races, but was there a race in particular? Let's focus in on a race you did not participate in. Is there a race in particular?
Yeah, he was about to just be like, "Oh, the Charlotte Roval, because I was all fast and better than everybody." And
is there a race in particular? Is there a race in particular that was probably one of the best races that stood out to you in the season?
The best race that stood out for me would have to be Hair Bear versus Ice, the final race of the season. Season 8 at Gateway. That was some close, even racing.
Yeah, that was some good racing. That was exciting. Fracture, any race that stands out to you, man, a particular race where you're like, wow.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to expect me to pick Martinsville, but I'm not. I'm going to pick the Michigan Chase race with Hair Bear winning. We had a lot of questions going into that. I believe that was the start of the round of 6, I want to say. But yeah, it was the start of the round of 6. And, we had a lot of questions about certain drivers and how they performed. And Hair Bear he took it to everybody on the field. There was great racing from first all the way back to last. And it really was headlined by Hair Bear fighting Hindu and Amari at the front for the win that we really didn't expect to see happen, and he did an amazing job of it, and because of that, it made up for an amazing battle at the front.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, Ice? The Steelers comments. Okay, bud. All right, we got it. So if you ever want to run in Cup, you might want to chill with the Steelers comments. I'm just saying. Yeah, I started taking them call up point. No, I'm playing. But anyway, because right now every team sucks because ain't nobody going to get a chance to play because of what this mess is going on in the world. So, as far as I'm concerned, every team is garbage. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Yeah, I tell you what, I like that Auto Club race earlier on in the season that we had in the X Series. Was pretty good. That was Hair Bear's first win there in the series, and that was a sweet win. But it was like a win that it was like about time. you saw him run. It was like, okay, this is the Hair Bear we've been waiting on for a while. And he really showed what he could do in this series, and he really showed what he could do overall. I was worried and concerned about the pressure of, first of all, the pressure of winning. And then when he went on that vacation and pushed the league back, as far as the start of the chase, that was smart. But at the same time, when he pushed it back and back and back to where he couldn't push it back anymore, and then those championship races rolled through, which were Bristol and Gateway, I kind of cringed a little bit, but he was able to pull through with the pressure.
I gotta take a phone call right real quick. Be back.
Okay. So, viewers out there, would you like to hear an interview with our champion of the X Series? If you don't, too bad, because we're going to do an interview anyway with the driver of the 27. Hair Bear said he was here with us. Man, welcome to the broadcast today, man. You are a champion. How does that feel? Has it soaked in yet, or is your mind just shifted to a cup?
In the words of all guns, how do you feel, man? You must feel excited.
Feels great to be a champion for the first time.
Yeah. So how does it feel to be a champion? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. All right, but for real, when you first joined KMR, and you ran those first couple seasons where if we had the type of attendance and everything that we had back here in this season, a couple of those seasons ago, you'd have been pushing qualifier. And when you look back then and then you compare yourself to where you are now, what do you think is your biggest improvement?
When I look back then, that was garbage. To be honest. But yeah, as the season goes on, I get kind of a little better, and it's just gotta be patient and steady.
So, we're gonna stay primarily in the X Series right now. When you started the season, did you feel that you had an advantage over the other drivers that were present? Because start of the season, Daytona was not a good race for you, all things considered. You did get the win at Auto Club, but did you feel that you had an advantage and that the championship was yours to lose, or did you feel there was a turning point in your season where you made adjustments to be able to get to that point?
I mean, we made some adjustments here and there, but just the pressure of how feel confidence and stuff like that.
So, what do you think the best race? What was your favorite race of the X Series season?
Favorite race was getting my first win at Auto Club.
Yeah, it was a good race to watch too. There was a lot of action, a lot of back and forth. Unfortunately, we don't have that broadcasted. We apologize about that, but we're working to have 100% broadcast next season, or at least 99%. But it was an awesome race. Take it from me. We do have a truck series broadcasting there, check that out at Auto Club. That truck series was just as good as the X Series as far as action is concerned. You're not missing a thing. And I believe that's there over on Jaron Hazen and on KMR TV 105 The Drives, where you want to check that out at. Okay, so favorite race was your first win. Do you feel that win gave you momentum for the rest of the season? Was it like, okay, now I can focus on the playoffs? What was the turning point for you where you felt, okay, I can get this championship?
Yeah, there was a lot of good drivers, but Yeah, I think we felt had a momentum getting that win, but after I took had a use what he said at a vacation, um, some of the drivers started winning, and yeah.
Do you think that that vacation? Let's move on to kind of the chase is approaching. Obviously, pushing the chase back. Um, do you think that that decision helped your chase efforts, or do you think it hurt your chase efforts?
A little bit, a little both. Um, I know I was looking for to race at Homestead, but we had a race at Gateway for the championship.
Yeah. Um, okay. So obviously, everyone, if you don't know, there were certain drivers removed out of the X series. Um, let's just say that they were not removed. You guys have to battle it out. I still have you as the favorite. Did you feel before you got the news that both Hindu and Amari were removed from the series? Did you have confidence? Oh yeah, these guys are toast when we head to Gateway in Bristol. Did you feel that way, or did you feel that it was going to be a really tough battle?
No, I felt it that way when I noticed that Mari and were removed from the league. And then we just went out there and just won.
Definitely. So let's just say they weren't removed, and you had to race those two guys for the championship. Do you still have confidence you can beat them?
I mean, yeah, both of them are pretty fast. We had slightly a little bit confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So you were able to get it done. Obviously, you win the championship, and you have already said that you've made the decision to come back next season as the series defending champion to defend that championship. Obviously, the rule is you got one opportunity to defend that championship, and then you were moved on to the next series. Um, before we go further with that, who do you say this season? Who was your biggest opponent of the season, or I should say toughest? Who was your toughest opponent of the season?
I wanted to say Amari. He's a
Yeah,
tough opponent.
he was fast. He definitely was fast. So now moving into this season, moving into next season, who do you think is going to be your toughest opponent?
I don't know. It's a lot. Um, maybe foreign.
Yeah, possibly. Someone is claiming to be your toughest opponent. Look out for old Mixer Ice. He's claiming that he's going to be your toughest opponent. So maybe he's bringing something to prove there. We'll see. We're here interviewing Hair Bear, our championship winner here in the X Series, driver of the 27 CMR Chevrolet. Fracture, you got a question or two for our champion here?
Yeah, I got. Do you feel any pressure going into next season, like you have to win the Xfinity Series championship? Now knowing that you already did it, do you feel any pressure going into next season now that everybody's going to be hunting to beat you? Do you feel any pressure coming towards your way from the other drivers?
Oh yeah, there will be a lot of pressure because they um they just gotta chase out that one person who just won the championship, and then We just gotta go for it.
Do you feel any pressure now on yourself in the Cup Series for next season? Now knowing that everyone knows you've won the championship in the X Series, now people are looking at what are you going to do with the big dogs, the Cup Series. Do you feel that there's any pressure now to perform better in the Cup Series?
All I just know, we just gotta get better, and better at these tracks, yeah, just gotta get better.
Definitely. Well, the roster has not. Oh, I'm sorry. Fracture, you got any more questions before I ask what else going to go?
Well, what's your projected win count for next season in the Cup Series? If you had to give yourself, any chance, how many wins do you think you're gonna get next season? I mean, it can be 0, it can be 900. I mean, up to you.
Lucky number 7.
Oh, going for 7 Cup Series wins.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that's not possible. Well, that definitely ain't possible. That definitely is possible.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Wow, 7 wins. Well, I better super practice in all season then.
Hey, I mean, we had 4 last season, and then try to get more.
Yeah, definitely. So, championship, take the off season, soak that in. If there's anything, when you look back on this season, obviously you've already said you want to get better season after season. If there's anything you can point to directly as something you want to improve in for next season, what do you think it'll be?
Road courses. Really don't like road courses.
Yeah, they can be tough.
Yep.
I can tell you from experience. Yeah. As both a team owner and as a driver, I can tell you from experience. Because I'm gonna tell you something. As a team owner, I think CMR has torn up more race cars at road courses than any other league. Period. We have just torn up all kind of race cars. Yeah, mostly because of Speedy. Yeah, we're not gonna lie there. Mostly because of Speedy. But needless to say, we've torn quite a few up, So yeah, we're gonna work on that because obviously you're a CMR Chevrolet, so we're gonna work on that. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Road course is going to be a challenge. There will be a road course next season in the X Series, so definitely improving in that. So definitely a very admirable goal, and it doesn't hurt. Definitely helps you both in the X and in the Cup Series. So we look forward to your endeavors in trying to back up that championship. It's gonna be fun. We look forward to seeing that. And we appreciate you joining us up here, taking out a little bit of your time and off 2K to be able to have a few words with us up here in the booth.
Can't wait for next season.
Definitely, man. Me either. I can't wait. But we're gonna have to. And in the meantime, while we're waiting, let's chat this up a little bit. Fractured. You heard the comments from Hair Bear. What do you think about that? First of all, how would you grade his overall season? Obviously, he is a champion, but how would you grade his overall season? What do you think he needs to improve in? What do you think he did great? Let's sum this thing up.
Well, I'd give it an A minus. It's tough to give him any grade lower than an A, but I'm gonna give him an A minus simply because his middle of the season performances were just a little bit on the his round of 12 was a little bit clutch in round of 6, and that was what ended up awarding him this great season is because of his great round of 6. So A minus, but because of the lackluster round of 12 and round of 6, or not round of 6, mid regular season and round of 12, I'm gonna give it an A minus. But overall, his best season he has ever had. Period.
Yeah, by far, man, by far. Tell you what, I'd grade it the same way. I give him an A. He pulled a lot of strategy, and I think that's the big difference between the growth of the old Hair Bear and the new Hair Bear. You know, I think Hair Bear has always had speed per se, but execution is the difference between being a number one and last place. And some drivers do it better than others. You know, because when you think about it, these cars all start off about the same speed. So you're only gaining maybe a second overall the entire race. So it comes down to execution, and those that execute the best generally are up front the most. And he definitely took a leap, a large leap in that. And I still do believe that even if Amari and Hindu are there and going to race those last two races, Hair Bear still wins the championship. I still think that was fast enough, especially after that round of 6 performance, to get it done. And it's because of that growth that he took. And I think that if he continues to do that, he's going to be scary in the Cup Series as well. He's going to continue to get better, and he's going to be a definite chase contender next season. So it's definitely something to keep our eye on. Now, who's going to be his biggest opponent? Based on what we've seen in the roster, obviously there'll be some roster additions next season. Who do you think is going to be his biggest opponent?
Well, I don't think it'll be Ice, who is a little bit more confident because of his inconsistencies. I think I have to agree with what Hair Bear assessed, which is Foreign. Foreign, although not winning any races, was very much up in the thick of the things up front, and I think he was Hair Bear's closest competitor last season. I think Pennzoil could be one as well, but I think that Foreign is definitely your lead contender for really anything like that.
Yeah, I will throw Ice in there because I think still Ice has Cup experience, and I think the only thing that really hurt Ice overall was his attendance not being there, and because of that, as guys got better throughout the season, it showed with his speed. But that Gateway race really showed that he can be a contender. So I'm not discrediting Ice because of his Cup experience, which he had before Hair Bear. I mean, Ice has a lot of seasons under his belt, starting way back on the M14. So you can't count him out. But I will agree also, Foreign, man, was really and truly, if we wanted to go back and try and correct some of the damage that was done in this entire season, if it wasn't the chase and it was a regular season and the situation that happened that caused the removal of Hindu and Amari were adjusted, Foreign wins some of those races, just hands down. He would have wins. Yeah. So I definitely think that Foreign is going to be a front runner. But there's going to be some Cup Series guys. I know Josh has come out and said in the comments here on the Speed Report, hey, I want to come out there and race in that Cup Series. I'm going to give it my all next season so that I can come race in that Cup Series because I know I'm faster than some of those guys there. That means he's going to be putting in the work. Pennzoil, we saw what he was able to do. We called him a part of that big 3 in the Truck Series. He could definitely become a part of that big. Well, he could definitely become a contender. There's no big 3 yet, but he could definitely become a contender in the X Series, especially because now he's getting Cups experience too, and he'll have that. So that's definitely going to be a contender. And you know, the rookies of Zack Attack. What he brings to the table. He's fast. We've seen him be fast, and he has help from his future Cup Series partner in Paint. So definitely we could see Zach run up front. He averaged about a top 3 to a top 5 when he was running there. So we could definitely see that. And I almost forgot, we could definitely also see Terrier, who had a humongous season last season. You talk about growth. He went from a F to
I'll be right back.
A B minus. So, all right. So definitely we could see him get, excel. So it's a lot to look forward to, and we'll definitely have to pay attention to that. Ice, if you want a thorough explanation as to what happened, see me after the broadcast, and I'll give you some brief details on that, very small details, because really, it's just, all you need to know is that they're not in KMR. But anyway.
By the way,
So,
Cookie.
Yes.
Don't forget about something. If Terry calls the 12 next season, don't forget about Lucky's future team. And plus, Zach's coming up.
I was specifically talking about the X series, though.
Yeah, but I know Paint is teammate with because they're allies with me and Cup. That's why we got Zach a ride.
Okay. So definitely keep an eye on that. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Appreciate that. And so now we appreciate that. And of course, obviously, for those that are watching, our 4 viewers, we appreciate that, the support and everything. And continue to support us in the off season. Look forward to a more in detailed analysis. There will be a special broadcast in the off season in which we'll break down each of the 3 series. And so look forward to that. In the meantime, our next X Series broadcast will be in a couple weeks. After the championship for the Cup Series, the next time we'll see X Series drivers in the cars will be in the RVP race, which will be at Homestead on Saturday on the normal Cup Series or normal X Series time. So Saturday 8 o'clock. The weekend after the Cup Series championship will be the All-Star RVP, and then that Sunday will be the All-Star race. Why is the RVP important? Just briefly, the RVP is important because drivers that win the RVP have an opportunity to go to the All-Star race in the Cup Series, and the driver that wins the All-Star race that is not already locked into the season will then be locked in. So if you win in the All-Star race, you're locked into next season. No qualifier, no questions. You're locked in. And that's a relative lock-in, not a absolute lock-in. Any questions about that? We got a speed report 2 weeks ago that talked about that. So take a look at that. But anyway, so now let's kind of get into our Cup Series. Let's kind of review Kentucky. Kentucky was an awesome race. We saw a lot of wrecks. We saw a lot of back and forth. We want to thank our Cup Series broadcaster Woozy Emu subbing in for Dunker Wiz, and Woozy was able to bring us some coverage of that race, which was it was rather interesting a race. It really was. Our race winner Slothy in the Deuce was able to get it done. And so, we can go ahead and scroll these cars too and kind of change the backdrop a little bit. But anyway, so we'll talk real quick about to Slothy. Slothy, you finally got the monkey off your back.
Yes, finally.
How did it feel getting that win, man?
I should have won that race last year in the 9 car. I should have broke his 2-year winning streak last year. But now I finally broke it after 3 seasons. I said, thank God. I had to man up above on my side. I prayed right for the race. I said, please, God, let me win this race and get this monkey off my back. And look what happened.
You got a dub, man. So, obviously, you're not chasing.
Nope.
But this definitely helps in the battle for the top 10. You were outside the top 10 looking in before Kentucky. And then after Kentucky, you are now sitting 7th. Sitting 7th. So, no, 8th. You're sitting 8th behind Hair Bear. But in the top 10. How does that change your focus for the next couple races? Obviously, we got Road America, and then we've got our championship 2 races. So how does this change your perspective for the rest of the season?
Just keep what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull some strategy at Road America. He might not win. Try to. At least all I can do is try. But that would,
Hey,
guys, that will be the last time that Miller Lite will be on that 2 car this year.
okie dokie. Fractured. What did you think of? I know this was a very disappointing race for you, obviously for multiple reasons. But how would you rate the drive by the Deuce? What do you think about his performance?
Well, I don't think he was the fastest car, but I think we saw something that we hadn't really seen a lot of, if I'm totally honest, which was Slothy was very good late in the race in terms of getting himself up to the front and being able to grab the win. Because of that late race run that he was able to build himself, he was able to be the favorite in the end. I mean, he did such a great job of distancing himself, so all props out to him. You know, we hadn't seen a lot of that before. You know, he's had some issues when it comes to late in race strategy calls, but you got to remember, he crossed the line first in Kentucky last season. It may not have counted, but he crossed the line first in Kentucky last season. So this was a race that didn't necessarily surprise me, but I mean, he did such an amazing job to be able to go out there and grab that win. So all props out to him. But Kentucky was a great race.
Yeah, agreed. It was an
Thank
awesome
you,
race.
Fracture.
Before we talk about our kind of our before we talk about Swift in our next little segment here, how much of a difference did you notice, Slothy, Fracture? How much of a difference did you notice with the absence of Nightfall, Amari, Zesty, and Hindu?
It was a very clean race. You know, there wasn't a lot of contact. The racing got spread out at some points, but it had its close moments. I didn't see a whole big difference like some people did, but there was a little bit of a difference.
Slothy, what do you think? What do you think the biggest difference was with not having those guys present?
It wouldn't be all SHR right in the front of us, gapping us like 15 seconds out to the next car, where we have to draft and get over to. But the biggest difference is look how close it was at the end. Like it was only like a half a second back to second between me and second.
Definitely.
But then
Definitely. White flag shootout.
No, it's a 2 lap to go shootout.
Oh yeah.
But
Basically the same thing.
between first and probably last, it was probably like 2.1 seconds. It was so close.
Something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry about that. But so yeah, definitely one of the things I noticed was 3 things I noticed. Number one, I noticed there was a lot more wrecks. Yeah, it was quite a few more wrecks. I would have thought the racing would have got a little more spread out there. I think the red flags had a lot to do with it. My bad. I called about over half of those, but you know,
You caught 2 of them.
Things happen. Things happen. So yeah, the red flags was one thing. Number 2 though was I saw that people were not afraid to run up front. And that no one should ever be afraid of a particular group of drivers or a driver. So much so that they don't max their full potential. We saw Beloved and Dale up front, and they weren't verbally chastised or ostracized by running up front. You know, they had fun. Everyone had fun at the end of the race, and that leads me to my 3rd thing. I wasn't bombarded with a litany of aggressive driving clips, because everyone was able to go out there and have fun. And that's what this league is all about. And at any point in time when that is compromised, then KMR makes adjustments, because we're about having fun at the end of the day. We're not saying that you can't be human. No one's a robot out here, so obviously emotions are going to run. But at the end of the day, next week you shouldn't be mad at something that happened a week ago. We should have let that go and move forward and be able to continue to do that. So I think that was some of the biggest things that I noticed, and we got a Slothy to victory lane was awesome. Now let's talk about this guy right here. That's Swift, aka Dopey Lion. Dopey got hit with a penalty resulting from what happened, the debacle that happened last week and a week before that. He was hit with a penalty to a situation where he had to finish good. These last two races, he could not make any mistakes. The dude finishes second and gets himself right back into the playoff picture. Fractured, is he still a championship favorite?
Swift?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can put him there, but it's gonna be a little tougher for him, I think. But I think coming into Road America, if he gets out of there with a win in the pole, like I believe he will, I think it's gonna be a pretty smooth sailing. He's definitely gonna be back in it. Nobody's ever eliminated until the fat lady sings, or it's mathematically impossible. So, he's fourth in points. He's gonna make the next round, it looks like. So, I mean, he's not out of it. He's definitely in the thick of it. It's gonna be one heck of a top three fight with these last three races. I think we got left.
Yeah, Slothy, what do you think? Is he still the favorite? Because earlier in the season, we looked at his performance and we're like, look, this dude's the favorite to win a championship. Do you still feel that way, or do you kind of look at it and say, I don't know, Paint the defending champion, the inconsistent experience of the 27? What do you think?
Dopey, if he comes out at Road America with a good finish, top two, and one of the other champion guys had bad luck, like they lag out or something, he could be right there. He can say bye-bye, see you later, and go win the championship. Knock that big, what do we call it? Zero off the back of Paint and give it to him. Because Paint's got that big zero with red dot right on the back of his card. That somebody wants to take a championship and chip away from him.
He has definitely been fast all season, and I think that this, if he can overcome this, it would just cap off a very amazing run that he has had. The wins, he faced a little bit of adversity. He gets hits with this penalty. We know earlier on in the season he got an aggressive driving penalty, which cost him points. And now to continue to be here and continue to be fighting, I think it says a lot about him and his character and how he has grown from his rookie season there at the 11, having to being removed from JGR and goes to RCR and then gets a win in the 13. But, outside of that, really nothing. You hear nothing. Then he gets to the Final Four last season on points only, does not win the championship. And then it just seems like this season is just bang, 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 going to victory lane and being able to overcome stuff. So if he can win the championship, wow, he is fast. And that lends us to this other part here. Oh, by the way, my 5 guys there in the broadcast, now 4, we appreciate your attendance here in the broadcast. Tell me what you think about that. Is the 10 car of Swift still the favorite to win the championship? And while they're answering that question, let's talk about our other group of drivers here that are battling it out. Let's first talk about the 54 of Paint, and I'm going to try to sign a number close to that. And while we're doing that,
50. It'll be the 52. It'll be the closest.
Or 52. Where's 52 at? If I don't like it, I'm going to go somewhere else. 52. Yeah, he's a Mustang. Okay, that fits. Anyway, guys, 54 Paint He's our defending champion. What shot does he have, guys, going into this chase? Um, do you think that he has a good chance of winning the chip?
I don't think he has any confidence really in himself, but I picked him. Well, I don't know if I can't remember who I picked for the championship, but I knew he was one of the guys that I predicted making the Final Four. I think he's the favorite in my book. He's been, I mean, he may not be winning all these races, but the dude's been so freaking consistent. Like, it's really tough to say otherwise. They've been amazingly consistent. So in my book, he's the favorite. Bristol and Gateway, I don't know how well he is at those tracks, so there's a couple questions there, but he's kind of glided his way through the chase. He hasn't had a lot of pressure behind him, except for the very first race at the end of round of six. But yeah, I think he's definitely got a very good chance of winning the championship. He is my favorite right now.
Slothy, what do you think about that?
Yeah. It's gonna be him and Swift battling this out. But my biggest thing is he's. I know he's fast at road courses. I know he's fast at mile and a half. There's that one track that were Xfinity. It gets so tight like a short track. And that's Gateway. If he can finish right behind Swift or battle with Swift there, he might have a shot. But as of right now, I got Swift over top of him for the championship.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Before I give my comments, I just want to see what you guys think of this question. How important for paint is Road America?
He's got to finish right behind Swift. He's pretty much got to be equal with Swift. If he's not, there goes his chase ups. Could be.
Well, we know that Road America is the last race in this round, so next round he's gonna be there. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. He will be there. But Fractured, do you get the feeling that he needs a good Road America for confidence going into the final round? Because Kentucky wasn't exactly the best race. It's kind of been up and down in around the six. What do you think about
Be back
Road
in a minute.
America for him?
Well, you're certainly going to want to propel yourself to the final round with a lot of confidence. I look back to 2 seasons ago. I ended up winning the final race in the round of six. I think that's how it went. I could be wrong, but I ended up winning that or the race before in the round of six. So I definitely know how big it is. So I'm not saying he has to win Road America. What I'm saying is he needs to have a very consistent Road America. He can't get involved in any crap with other drivers. He just has to race. He can't do anything else. Race your own race and just hope by the end of it you can take the checkered flag in a decent spot.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think Road America is going to be hard on everybody, but it just seems like I know earlier on in the season, winning, having a lot of success at Daytona, and then winning some races in the regular season, and then having success early in the chase, and he had a lot of confidence. You could tell he was kind of like, yeah, I got this, and then all of a sudden, as the round of 12 concluded, the round of 6 got started, it just seemed like you could just sense momentum being taken away a little bit and shifting over to the 10. Swift starts winning races and getting poles and being fast and battling up front and being there late in races. And even in that Bristol race, I know that he was running up front in the Bristol race. I had to try to pass him on the inside when I got wrecked by the 99. But he was definitely there, but that wasn't him that won that race, and so you just kind of get the drift that it just felt like momentum was being taken a little bit. And I think he needs to pivot on Road America, not say win. We know that that's going to be, a feat, but he's going to have to pivot on Road America as far as momentum. He's going to have to start getting swings in a positive direction And for a driver the caliber of Paint or Swift, getting a top 5 is not good enough. You got to be top 3. You've got to be hitting those marks, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens. He is not hanging his hat on Gateway, which is going to take us to a segment here in a little bit. But let's talk about our final driver, probably the worst of all the drivers compared in this final round. That's the driver of the 27. That's myself. Yeah. So does the 27 have any chance at a championship coming to these last 2 races?
N-O-T. Not. I'll go ahead and put that.
Does the 27 have any chance of a championship coming into this final round?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Slothy said no. Why'd you say no?
Why did I say no? Because...
And you don't have to be nice. I'm not going to take your points. You're not even in the chase, so I got no, you good.
Where did you finish? What is the last 2 races? 2 races. A short track? Two short tracks? Pretty much.
Yep.
Gateway and Bristol. I know you finished 7th in the Bristol race. The first Bristol race we went to. But can you go out and finish like a top 5 or a top 3 in Gateway? If you make it there. If you don't make it there, then you're looking at 2 people in the final race.
First off, I will make it to the final 4. That's a given. We will be in the final 4. Question was, does he have a shot at a championship? Not will he make the final 4. He's going to the final 4. Fractured.
Yeah.
You said yes, he has a shot. Why does the 27 have a shot?
This league has been going on 40 seasons, right? 39, 40?
Yep.
40 seasons. Okay, this league's been going on 40 seasons. Twitch Monster 27 here, or Cookie Monster, Sam Cook 345,003 has been in the league in all 40 of those seasons. You are a fool if you think that somebody with the experience of that has no chance of winning the title. Look, he has not shown the speed that he needs, but look here, he seems to always be there at the end. So with that being said, we already know on my book that he's going to have a chance. I picked him to win the championship 2 seasons ago when I won it. You are Luda if you think that he doesn't have a chance. I mean, like, ugh.
Oh, fine. I'm crazy.
I wasn't asked.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of technical difficulty there. Fracture, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So let's just kind of sum up the season so far for the 27. Obviously, earlier on in the season, pretty much from the drop of the green flag at Daytona, it wasn't the type of season that 27 had hoped for, but he just seems to find his way into the rounds and through the series. And now here he finishes up Kentucky with a top 3. Do you get the sense that he's gearing up for this final run, or is it just a situation or a circumstantial situation where he's been able to just capitalize on other people's mistakes?
I think I'm having some technical difficulties. What was it?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Definitely. Don't get Verizon, guys. AT&T is the way to go. Anyway, all right. So the question was, obviously the 27 has not had the best season starting off. Daytona, not good. Just seems like from the drop of the green flags from one thing after another. But finishing off, it just seems like he's been able to advance through each round. Finishes off Kentucky with a top 3. Do you get the sense that he's gearing up for this final these final couple races, or do you think it's just been a situational thing where things happen and he's taking advantage of?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's been a situational thing, but it takes, in order to win a title, to be good in those situational experiences. We think about last season with Paintbrush. He was really good in Auto Club in that situation that he was put in. He had to have a really good race, and he had a great race as he was able to take the win in the last couple of laps. So, you take it back to the season before with me making a couple strategy calls. You go the season before that with Knight, or with Swift, he almost made strategy calls. You're going to need to be really good late in the season, and that's what Cookie is, and late in races. So I have no doubt in my mind that he's been gearing up. Now, I think Road America is going to be a rough race for him, but I don't think he should be looking at that. He should be looking straight ahead at Kentucky, or not Kentucky, Bristol and Gateway, because those are the tracks that he has to work for now. He's going to make the next round. Now he's just got to focus on Bristol and Gateway.
Yeah, so now let's sum this all up. All three drivers. We obviously know with the situation that has happened this season in KMR, there'll be three drivers competing for this championship in the final round. How important is the Gateway race for these three drivers, and who needs the Gateway race more?
Well, I think Gateway. Oh man, that's a tough race to predict, because it's not a track that the Cup cars were necessarily running in real life. But somebody who needs a good Gateway is Paint. Paint has he's fluctuated. He's been in the top 5 it seems like every week. But whether or not he can win Gateway is very impressive. I think it's just going to be how can he adapt to the situation given to him. You as a person just kind of hyperventilate at some points, but how is he going to react as a to the situations given to him? So Paint, this is a massive race for you. You're going to have to go out and get him, buddy.
So you're saying Paint needs this more, and that it is a very pivotal race.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree, man. But I tell you what, I'm going to be a little biased here. I'm going to say that I definitely need Gateway more than anybody in KMR. I mean, literally, Gateway is a must top 3 for me. I think headed into Bristol, we already know Bristol is going to be absolute mayhem because of the situation. The championship race is going to be caution after caution. But the ability to go out there and win Bristol is going to be a little bit better, or at least to have a good finish. Obviously, we know what happened at the last Bristol. I got wrecked. I came from the back, which was, guys, we have to remember that the back is not 5th place anymore. The back is 16th, 15th, 14th. I believe there was 14 cars in that race. I think we only had one lag out, and that was Nightfall. I think there was only one lag out in that race. So at the end of that race, we're talking 14 cars. I passed 7 on a white flag shootout. So, we know what that's going to be. We know what that's going to be like. But that Gateway race is going to be utter mayhem.
Bristol and Gateway are both short tracks. I mean, you had the Final Four in there. It's going to be like we're at a kid's birthday party. Just things going everywhere. It's just going to be contact. It's going to be a rough time, bud.
It's going to be rough.
And especially for the top 10 drivers, man. If one of them Final 4 or Final 3 drivers, I guess, gets in there, or if they're right behind him and you don't get out of their way, man, they're just going to get destroyed out of the way. So, I mean, pinball.
Yeah, move out the way if you don't want to get involved in anything. Anyway, this is going to be a tough battle, but this is what it's for. Last time, we were in a similar situation. You remember you, me, Paint, Speedy. That was probably
Thanks,
an
Internet.
iconic battle,
Always
but it was similar.
Had a chance for that championship. That went straight down the drain, bud.
That was definitely a tough situation there. But anyway, guys, Gateway next week, this weekend, Cup Series action will be there at Road America. And we should have our normal broadcaster, Dunkerwist, there. Woozy Emu will be backing him up. So we hope that you look forward to the action. We're going to wrap things up here on the Speed Report with, obviously there's no X Series racing going on right now. They're in their off season, and so we'll get things started with RA Road America. Pole winner, race winner, fractured.
I mean, really, pole winner, Swift, racer winner, Swift. I mean, like, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no ands, ifs, or buts about that. And we'll stay in tune with that, and we'll see. Let's not forget, though, we got a little ghost train in there, too. So we'll see what happens there. Swift may have a little non-chase competition going on up there.
Maybe a little bit, but maybe a little bit.
Hey,
Pole
hey,
winner,
hey,
Swift,
yeah,
racer
fracture,
winner.
yeah,
Yeah,
fracture,
Slappy, Sloppy, Slappy, Sloppy, no.
yeah. Hey, I'm gonna slap you right to the gravel trap.
Okay.
If you keep on calling me that.
Oh, wait a minute. So Slappy, oh, that's right. He will be home this
Slappy
week. Lord,
Sloppy.
he'll be racing. Oh, you said Slothy.
Slappy,
I was gonna
Sloppy.
say, is he gonna be racing this weekend? Ooh, well. But anyway, I'm pretty sure I'll get it for that one. Guys, it's been the Speed Report. We appreciate you guys joining us here in this one. And we look forward to RA and look forward to next week. Also, again, keep an eye on the website. Truck Series, next series, Truck Series rosters will be released. The schedule will be released in the off season, probably during the All-Star weekend. The next season will be released. In the meantime, this is KMR
out.
signing out.
I'll see y'all later. See y'all later.